from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros say farewell to Minute Maid Park for several days. It's the finale of this homestand, and it's Game 2 against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown along with Jeff Blum. Alan Ashby will rejoin Blummer for the road trip. Julia Morales comes along in just a few moments. And the Astros 5-3 on this homestand. It's their third straight homestand, Jeff, in which they've played at least 500 ball. Yeah, they're doing a good job. They came off that road trip, played well. It'd be nice for them to finish this series off against the Los Angeles Angels, heading into that tough West Coast swing against some contending teams. Jose Altuve is like a machine gunner. He's just spraying out the hits. He got another 4-hit game last night. Yeah, we're seriously running out of things to say about him. Everything about him is amazing. He's a good clubhouse guy, good defender, goes out there and rakes. And every time we run out of things to say, he goes out and does what he did last night, getting 4 more hits. And you see how he's leading the major leagues in hits. He's also leading the American League in batting average and stolen bases. Looking to be the first guy since Ichiro to lead in all 3 of those categories. But just doing a great job, a lot of fun to watch. And we're looking to say more good things about him throughout the course of the rest of this season. He's continuing his relentless pursuit of the best hit season in Astros history. That belongs to Craig Biggio in 98. He had 210. Altuve was in 12th place Sunday. He's climbed up to 5th now with 193 hits. Yeah, he's climbing up that list. I look for him to be in the top of that list the way he's been swinging the bat. But he's etching his name in those history books here for the Houston Astros and also making a pretty big name for himself throughout Major League Baseball with the numbers he's putting up this season. Coming up, McHuge, as Jose Altuve dominates the Astros front page. There's another feel-good story making headlines on the Astros pitcher's mound. Julia Morales gives us the latest on a waiver wire pickup who's fired his way into the Astros' long-term plans when we come back. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's new Spicy Chicken Club Combo for only $4.99 plus tax.
Ready to go for the 2-game sweep here against the Angels. The Angels putting their ace on the mound, and the Astros will put a guy on the hill that's been pitching like an ace here recently. Collin McHugh, no longer the new guy to some of these division rivals like the Angels. This will be his 4th start against LA, and feeling really confident coming off a great start against the Texas Rangers. He went 7, giving up only 2 runs there. It wrapped up a really nice month of August for Collin. Since August 1st, he's 3-0 with an ERA of 1.91, and that's in 6 starts where the Astros went 4-2 there. He fell on the unlucky side of some things earlier in the season, but things are starting to turn back his way. Jason Castro saying the changeup really coming along for him. He's starting to pitch like he did earlier this season. He made that first start for the Astros April 22nd. Before that was with Oklahoma City, and he was pitching under interim manager of the Red Hawks back then, Tom Lawless, who will have a front row seat for him tonight, who has been incredibly impressed with the way that he's been able to pitch at the major league level. We'll see Collin in just a few minutes take on the Angels, but Jose Altuve continues his pursuit of the Astros single-season hits record. That belongs to Craig Biggio there. But before he gets there, he has to pass Astros legend Enos Cabell. The chase continues. Brownie and Ash will get you set next.
Different countries and different walks of life. 2 men, different yet the same. United by position, by perseverance, by passion, and by the place they play.
Right center field, that's number 3,000.
2 men on a collision course with history.
Back-to-back 4-hit games for Jose Altuve. 193.
2 superstars. 2 Houston heroes. 1 record.
That's a part of the September drama for the Houston Astros, and right now they've won 3 in a row. They have 60 wins, 79 losses, and they're wrapping up this homestand tonight. Tomorrow an off day for travel. Collin McHugh and the Astros take the field right now after beating the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim last night 8-3, and that stopped the Angels' 6-game winning streak. The Angels took a 4.5-game lead on Oakland into play today. Oakland lost a tough one to Seattle and King Felix 2-1 in Oakland, so the Angels can put even more distance between themselves and the second-place club as they prepare to go on their road trip. And Collin McHugh has pitched well against the Angels this season. He will take the mound against the Angels in just a moment here as the Astros and Angels meet for the final time in this ballpark this season. They have split the 8 meetings between each other here. First pitch honors came from Rex Smuts, a 92-year-old gentleman from Houston. And Rex threw out one of the first pitches before this game tonight. He was a Marine pilot in World War II and shook off the sign. He and his wife Mary have been married for 71 years, and their daughter Robin Bravo is probably at the ballpark tonight watching good friend Rex Smuts throw out the first pitch to Nick Tropiano. Here's the starting lineup now for Mike Scioscia's Angels tonight. Cole Calhoun leads it off in right field. It's Mike Trout in center. Albert Pujols plays first base. The DH batting fourth is Josh Hamilton. Howie Kendrick plays second base, batting fifth. He's followed by shortstop Eric Ibar, third baseman David Freese, left fielder Efren Navarro, catcher Chris Iannetta.
On the mound for the Houston Astros, right-hander Colin McHugh. Look at his numbers on the year, making his 22nd start. That ERA, superb, 2.99. Low whip, giving up 102 hits. Strikeout numbers are still pretty high for Colin McHugh at 132. Right-handers having a tough time. Slider's been quite effective for him against those right-handed hitters. Julia hit on the fact that he's pitched great in August. And Brownie, you said he's got good numbers against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, too. He's got a 1-2 record that has a 2.25 ERA against this potent offense.
It is very potent. 641 runs scored, averaging 4.7 runs per game. That's the third best average in the American League. They have some big bats in that lineup, but last night Brad Peacock did a number on them, held them to 4 hits in his 6th and a third. Overall, Mike Scioscia's club managed just 6 hits and 3 runs in the 8-3 loss to Houston last night. Tom Lawless getting set for his second game as the Astros interim manager, alongside his bench coach Adam Everett. And we'll see what game 2 brings for them as Cole Calhoun gets it underway. Calhoun has had an excellent year for the Angels. They are very pleased with what he's done for them. And the leadoff man takes ball 1, starting the night at 278. He's belted 13 homers. He's driven in 47 runs. And he's 3 for 8 against McHugh. He has scored 69 times this year. He was 1 for 4 in last night's opener. That's in for a strike. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief and the home plate umpire. That evens the count at 1-1. Colin McHugh came up and made his first Astros start in Seattle on the 22nd of April. He joined the club when Scott Feldman went on the disabled list. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he has put together that ERA of 2.99. Boy, that first start was electric. No walks and 12 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings. Didn't give up a run. He won that game 5-2, and he has really performed well for the Astros this year. Beat Texas last time out, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings. He's had 5 quality starts in his last 6. Breaking ball is hit into center field. A ground ball single for Calhoun leading off the game.
See who's playing behind Colin McHugh to keep that ERA down under 3. Around the outfield, we're going to have Robbie Grossman in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Jake Marisnick in right field, Domingo at third base, and Jonathan Villar back at shortstop. First start since June 29th, I believe, and Jose Altuve at second, John Singleton at first. Jason Castro behind the dish.
Villar at shortstop, and a double play situation here with Mike Trout stepping up. Well, the Astros would love to get a double play ball from Trout, one of the game's best performers. He takes the high heater, and it's ball 1 to Trout, a strong MVP candidate again this year. Last night he was 0 for 4. 287, 31 bombs, 97 runs batted in, a .556 slugging percentage, ranking high in all of those last 3 departments. He hits it foul. And it's 1-1. Trout is one of those electric performers, and certainly at his age, it's just amazing what he's done in this game. How much better could he possibly be? That's what we're asking every time we see him, Jeff.
I'm not sure if he can get any better, but if he maintains this level of play for the next 7 or 8 years, he's going to start living up to those names he's already being compared with.
And they are big-time names. He's already a 3-time All-Star. It's this one again foul, and it goes to a 1 ball 2 strike count on Mike Trout, who was born in New Jersey, First-round pick of the Angels in '09. He was the 25th player drafted that year. Trout has only a .204 batting average in 15 career games here at Minute Maid Park. 11 for 54. It's his second lowest batting average in any major league venue. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Trout.
That'd be a good one to ask Mike Trout why his numbers are so low here at Minute Maid Park.
Maybe it's that reflection off the building out in center field.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with my numbers right now. Good grief.
Second straight night that sun has come gleaming off that building out there in the distance.
Perfect.
Albert Pujols is on deck. There's a toss to first base. Calhoun with 4 steals and 6 tries. Even though the Astros have gone 4-4 here against the Angels, they're 5-10 overall this season. And they have one more trip to Anaheim on this upcoming road trip, which starts out in Oakland, then you jump up to Seattle and then back down to Anaheim. That's upstairs, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Tell you what, there's nothing like taking 3 visits to the O.Co Coliseum out there in Oakland.
Woo. You do get pumped for that.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like doing your work on a carpet desk.
Yeah. Trout has struck out a lot, 153 times. Runners going, though, and it's bounced to shortstop. That means no double play. And the out goes to first base. Trout hustles, but it's VR throwing in time to Singleton, 1 down, and Calhoun to second as the Angels stay out of a double play.
Good move by the Angels, sending Calhoun in this situation. Stay out of that double play. Trout, of course, making it close at first base, hustling every time. He does those little things right, too, Mike Trout does.
He sure does. He is an exemplary player. Albert Pujols is 0 for 4 from last night's game in this series, and that hasn't happened very often in this ballpark for Albert Pujols. 274, 24 homers, 83 runs batted in. He's hit 24 home runs here at Minute Maid Park, and they came in his first 87 games, but he has not hit a homers in his last 19 games since then. This one goes to left center field. Dexter Fowler over, making that catch. 2 outs for Colin McHugh.
Pujols has stung the ball the last couple times. Just the wrong part of the ballpark here at Minute Maid is center field.
One of the Angel coaches, Dino Ebel, the bench coach, was talking about that before the game. He said Albert has hit in a bunch of bad luck this year. He's hit balls up the middle, right on the button, but there's been somebody stationed there. He's pulled balls just inside the third base line, and they've gotten him out on those. And the shifts have had a lot to do with that lower batting average for Albert Pujols. Josh Hamilton at 262 with 10 homers has driven in 44. VR playing him up the middle. Strike 1 on the curveball for Hamilton. Hamilton's been another one of those Astros nemesis down through the years. He's had a lot of big hits in his Texas Rangers days against the Astros, and this season he's 10 for 25 for a .400 batting average in this ballpark. Fouls that one back. 0-2. He can be, even though he's been an MVP and he's put up big numbers, he can be a streaky sort of guy, Jeff.
Yeah, he sure can. I probably shouldn't be saying this in our broadcast, but I like that he's gone back to the toe tap with that front foot. I noticed in the first go around with the Angels last year, he was doing more of a leg lift, kind of messed with his timing a little bit, but since he's gone back to that toe tap to get loaded, it seems like the average is starting to come around and he's healthy, so those are 2 things together hopefully help the Angels down the stretch.
Last year he had career lows in batting average and on base average. He hit only .250, had a .307 on base average. Josh, 33 years old. There's the footwork with the toe tap coming.
Yeah, watch that front foot. He'll bring it back when the pitcher starts his delivery, and then he just goes right towards the pitcher to unleash the fury.
Well, that's what he's done down through the years. He brought a career .295 batting average into this season.
There you go. Good look. Tap. That just forces the weight to get on that back foot before he goes towards the pitcher. I kind of say you want to gather yourself on that back leg. You don't want to get your upper body or your hips going forward towards the pitcher. That's how you lose some of your power.
Hamilton will not chase the curve in the dirt. It's 2-2, but he is a free swinger, and sometimes he will go for a pitch like that. He's a 5-time All-Star. He won his AL MVP award in 2010, hitting .359 that year with 32 homers, 100 runs batted in. Don Baylor, the hitting coach, said he's been doing better lately, and that .262 batting average probably could fool some people. Bounce through the left side, diving play. Here's Matt Dominguez, and the scoop by Singleton robs Hamilton. Terrific effort, and Dominguez went flying to his left. No runs a hit and a man stranded. No score as Colin McHugh gets a superb play from his third sacker station well off the line. Kept the Angels off the scoreboard in the top of the first. Now the Astros lineup is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's Robbie Grossman leading off in left field, Jose Altuve at second base, Dexter Fowler center field, Chris Carter DH, Jason Castro catcher, Jake Marisnick right field, John Singleton first base, Matt Dominguez third base, Jonathan Villar shortstop.
On the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Jared Weaver making his 30th start. I believe he's tied for that AL League lead in wins with 15. ERA not too shabby at 3.57. Right-handers having a tough time. He's got a fastball, curveball, great changeup, and he battles. He's not going to blow your doors off with velocity by any means, but pitches extremely well. Beat the Oakland A's last time out, going 7 strong, not giving up an earned run.
Robbie Grossman takes the first pitch, and it's feathered in there at 86 for strike one. Robbie at .217 has 6 homers, 32 runs batted in. Last night had his second multi-double game, a pair of doubles and a single, going 3 for 5, driving in a run, scoring 1. This is rolled out to second. Howie Kendrick, 1 down.
Just got to look at Howie Kendrick at second base for the Los Angeles Angels. Take a look around their outfield. Efren Navarro out there in left field. Mike Trout in center. Cole Calhoun in right field. Across the infield, David Freese back at third base. Ibar and Kendrick up the middle. Pujols at first base. Chris Iannetta doing the catching again.
Big round of applause for Jose Altuve coming up here at Minute Maid Park, where he's hit so very well this year. .357 is his home batting average. That's the second best in the American League at home. He's on a 10-game hitting streak, hitting .419 in those 10. Lays off the breaking pitch, and it's ball one to Altuve. The league's best batting average belongs to Jose, and it's .340. 7 homers. He has 47 runs batted in, and his on-base average is up to .377. Smacks this one on one hop. It goes to David Freese. He takes care of it for the second out. Right-handed hitters are managing a measly .208 batting average against Weaver. He has the first two. Dexter Fowler is doing some stretching, trying to buy a little time for his starting pitcher, Colin McHugh. Only 4 pitches needed by Weaver to get the first 2, and you mentioned he pitched shutout ball last time out against Oakland. Well, the Angels really had a stranglehold on the mound against that Oakland club in terms of shutting them out in that last series.
Yeah, that Oakland A's offense is just not the same this second half of the season. The first half, complete juggernaut.
Fowler looks at it, and it's ball one to Dexter. 279, 8 homers, 30 runs batted in. In last night's game, he batted third for the first time in a while. He had 2 hits and 2 walks in 5 trips. It's 2 balls, no strikes. In Weaver's career, as you see Friday, with that win over the Athletics, making him a 15-game winner. He's been a 20-game winner in 2012. He was 20-5, 3-time All-Star. Zips that by Fowler for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. He's 2-1 against Houston with a lifetime ERA of 3.48. He beat Colin McHugh in Anaheim back on May 21st, 2-1. Weaver went the distance on a 2-hitter. Gave up a home run to George Springer for the only run. Now it's 3-1. Fowler has hit in 8 of his last 9. Astros peppered the Angels with 15 hits last night. Fastball fouled away. That makes it a full count on Dexter. Fowler's had a nice homestand, hitting .357.
It's amazing. Dexter, being about 6'5", gets so many balls thrown to him.
It really does.
That's a big zone to aim at.
It is a large strike zone. And he takes, whoa, it's strike 3 call, and that ends the first inning. And it's a 1-2-3 first for Weaver, and no score after 1.
Nothing in the top of the second, so Jose Altuve may just have grounded out in the first inning, but he's been so red hot that he can pretty much just do anything. So for our Twitter question tonight, we decided to have a little fun with this. We want you to start a sentence and finish the sentence using Jose Altuve can, and then finish it out with something creative, something non-baseball. For instance, maybe you want to say Jose Altuve can achieve world peace with one swing of the bat. Or maybe you want to say Jose Altuve can make Sir Mix-a-Lot sing about big brains. Something like that. The goofier the better. Tweet me at HoChanCSN. I'm reading the best tweets on TV. Guys?
You love this stuff, Howard.
Just having some fun, Brownie. Just having some fun.
That's what it's all about. No score. Howie Kendrick leads it off in the second inning. Kendrick has been right on Astros pitching this season. He has had a phenomenal year. Takes that one, and it is strike one to Kendrick. At 278, he has 5 homers, 56 runs batted in. He's hit .390 against the Astros, 22 for 59, driving in 13. Last night we talked about all of his opposite field hits. The count goes to 0-2. He's had 55 hits to the opposite field, and we saw it again last night. He doubled to right field, going 1 for 3 with a walk. At the breaking ball. 1-2 to Howie Kendrick. A big part of the Angels offense, although usually his name is not the first one you read when reading stories about the Angels offense.
For years, yet he's just a steady influence on this ball club.
Two and two. He and Eric Ibar, who is on deck right now, are just really two of the best hitters as far as making things happen in terms of up the middle teammates you're going to find in baseball. In the air, and the breaking pitch was high. It's skied to right field. Marisnik is there. Sometimes those high breaking balls work out a little bit better. You don't think of it that way, though, do you? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you saw it last night with Iannetta swinging through a hanging breaking ball for a strikeout. Your eyes get a little big and you swing too quick, too hard sometimes and miss them. Or times like this that happened to Howie Kendrick, you just get blown up on it because you let the ball travel too much. But I wouldn't take my chances up there too often.
No. Eric Ibar, 286, 6 homers, 58 runs batted in. Is currently on a 17-game hitting streak, longest of his career. He's hit .438 during those 17. Strike for McHugh. Colin has a variety of breaking stuff. Ibar doubled last night, going 1 for 4. There's a slower curveball, and that makes it 0-2. Tom Lawless was asked about starting pitching, and he talked about McHugh racking up the innings this year. Dallas Keuchel has done that same thing. So they're both being carefully monitored by pitching coach Brent Strom in terms of the innings limit that may be imposed upon them this season. There's been no number actually given on either one of them.
And it's something they got to think about. They're not heading into the postseason, and you want to protect these guys and save them and extend their careers a little bit. You don't want to burn them out here in September and have something awful happen just because fatigue is set in, and then you have something to deal with over the offseason. You want to have these guys with all the confidence and all the strength going into 2015.
McHugh was very strong in August, going 3-0 with a 1.91 ERA. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Well, I think it's interesting that they showed Dallas Keuchel too, because that's a guy who wants to go out there and finish out the season strong, racking up as many innings as he can. Because if you get to that 200 inning threshold, you know, that looks good when you go to the arbitration table. You know, that helps out his cause.
I bet it does. And if he feels fine, he's going to resist efforts to shut him down. That one came down and in, and Ibar struck out on it.
A nasty little cutter, maybe slider at 89 miles an hour that Colin has. And you talked about the variety of off-speed stuff that he has. He has this hard little cut right here, which is tough to lay off on the inner third. Also has a little bit bigger slider around 86, 87 miles an hour, and then the big hammer.
2 outs now, and it's third baseman David Freese. Freese, the World Series MVP in 2011 for St. Louis. Looks at ball 1. Freese has been doing some DHing in addition to playing third base. 249 for Freese, 6 homers, 41 runs batted in. Freese takes a look at it. It's in for a strike. That evens the count at 1-1. Gordon Beckham was the third baseman last night while Freese was on the bench. He's hit .405 against the Astros, driving in 11 in 11 games. McHugh knocks it down and throws to Singleton for a 1-2-3 second. No score after 1.5. From Calhoun in the first inning. The Astros went out 1-2-3 against Weaver in the bottom of the first. Weaver not throwing particularly hard at the outset of this game, but hitting some spots. Now he'll face Carter, Castro, and Marisnick in the second inning. Not always about throwing hard, is it?
No, this is one guy that actually had velocity when he first came up and has lost some of that velo, but has learned how to pitch. I think his delivery helps him out quite a bit too. Plus all the pitches he throws, and he's able to locate.
Chris Carter first up, and he takes. There is strike one at 86 miles per hour to Carter, a .226 hitter with 33 homers, 79 runs batted in. He had a big month of August with 12 long balls, driving in 29. 1-1, but Victor Martinez of Detroit was voted the American League Player of the Month in August. Josh Harrison of Pittsburgh got the National League honors. The shift is on, and it is Little Cutter for a 2-ball 1-strike count on Carter. Angels study those defensive metrics the way most teams do when they position their players. That one had some riding action on it, and the foul tip makes it 2-2 for Weaver.
But you can see that deception. That's an 87-mile-an-hour fastball against a guy who's hit some fastballs a long way this year.
Good point.
And he gets beat.
Yeah, it looks like more than 87 on your monitor, perhaps. The way it rides up there, and that check swing call goes Carter's way. 3-2 the count. Brian O'Nora made the call at first base. Weaver has won 128 games. That's third on the Angels all-time list, behind Chuck Finley and Nolan Ryan. That's hit in the air. Carter watches it go back to the base of the wall. Navarro, Carter strikes. Number 34, and the Astros lead it 1-0. That's his fourth long ball against the Angels this season.
He's got some big home runs against the Angels too. It's good to see the big man continuing to drive that ball out of the ballpark. Might have been a cut of it flattened out a little bit, and he elevated, but with those Crawford boxes, they come creeping at you, and watch where this thing ends up. Right in the living room.
Almost wound up in Kevin Allen's pocket. He's our cameraman out there. There's Jason Castro with strike one.
Surprised Howard wasn't out there trying to retrieve the souvenir.
Well, you know he was trying. Well, Carter hits his 34th, 2 off the major league lead. Castro puts it in the air softly over shortstop. Ibar looks out, and the center fielder Trout is behind him with the catch for out number 1. It's been quite a ride since July 1st for Carter. Now with 34 long balls, continues to add one more on to his career high. Weaver has surrendered 23 homers this season. He's in his 183rd inning. Marisnick, the batter. The right fielder at 267 has belted 1 homer in an Astros uniform. He's driven in 8. 29 games with Houston after the trade with Miami. And that one cuts away from him, and it's ball 1. Marisnick last night had a double and a sac fly. He also scalded a line drive, but that started a double play. This one's hit to left field, and after Navarro back for this, 2 outs. Didn't have that same sound to it that Carter's did.
I got Carter getting to 40.
Yeah.
22 games after tonight's game.
The pace that he's on would probably put him there, right?
I would like to see it. It would be pretty incredible to have the Astros have the league's leading hitter and the league's leading home run.
That would be rare. You bet it would. So 16 road home runs surrendered by Weaver. He pitches very, very well at Angel Stadium, which is a tremendous pitcher's park. John Singleton comes up next. And it's up. Oh, called a high strike. 0-1 to Singleton. 176, 12 homers. 41 runs batted in for John. He is 0 for his last 18. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. No balls, 2 strikes. Left-handed hitters are hitting 49 points higher against Weaver than right-handed batters this year. That's strike 3 call. The Carter home run makes it 1-0 Houston after a couple.
And it's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That is brought to you by AT&T. Jason Castro catching Colin McHugh today, talking about his pitcher earlier, saying that he's getting back to doing things that he was doing earlier in the season when he was having so much success against everyone, really. But against righties here lately, he's been really impressive. Castro saying that this guy has a plan when he goes to the mound, and he sticks to it. And that elevated fastball we've seen him throw here recently is a really good complement to his curveball with the depth that he has, and it's definitely been working. And he hopes to just improve on things like his changeup, guys, from here until the end of the season.
Are the guys messing with you down there, Julie?
Oh, man. They are giving me a hard time.
You're giggling. We knew something was up.
I'm getting a seed shower.
Efrain Navarro, 254, 1 homer, 12 runs batted in. Leads it off. He's the left fielder. He smacks one into right center field. Fowler goes long strides, gets over. Navarro takes the turn, and Fowler gets it in second base as he holds on with a leadoff single. Hit number 2 for the Halos. Brings up Chris Iannetta.
Good swing by Navarro, getting the start today out there in left field. Just a little cutter that lingers out over the plate. Nice when you're not playing every day to get that first knock out of the way.
You bet. He's got to feel pretty good already. And it's Chris Iannetta hitting in the 9 spot, taking a curveball. We saw that pattern last night with Iannetta batting with Brad Peacock on the mound. Started him off with breaking balls, and then fastballs came later in the count.
See if Iannetta recognized that. Makes the adjustment today.
Iannetta had a walk and a sac fly in last night's game. Yeah, he's got to be wise to that by now. Foul back. Brad Peacock, who really pitched well last night, said Jason Castro put together a superb game plan for him, and they stuck with it. They did not need to deviate very much from what Jason had laid out before the game. That was win number 4 for Peacock. He gave up 2 runs, earned runs in 6 1/3 innings, 3 runs total. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-2. As for Colin McHugh, that 2-1 loss we talked about to Jared Weaver, part of a 7-9 season, and that's how you get to 7-9 with a 2.99 ERA. There have to be some tough losses in a season like that, Plummer.
Real tough, yeah. Sometimes that record really is deceptive. So if you look at Colin's numbers, he's doing great.
It's in the dirt. Count goes to 2-2 on Iannetta. He had a string of losses. He lost 6 consecutive starts from mid-June through the end of July. Part of that time he spent on the disabled list with that blister problem around the fingernail on his middle finger, the right hand. He said that's fine now. But in one of those games, the Astros, well, a couple of them, they got 1 run. He was shut out in a couple more, and that's what built into that losing streak. Batting average against him is .221. And the throw goes over to first. But if you had the top starters the Astros have gone with here for the last few months going into spring training next year, you probably wouldn't feel that bad about this club, would you, Jeff?
No, not at all. Got a pretty good 1-2 punch right now in Dallas Keuchel, Colin McHugh. Oberholzer's pitching well, finishing up the season again strong. Brad Peacock, if he can
strike 3.
If he can wrangle in what he did last night and continue that kind of success, that'd be a nice little addition to the back end of that rotation for the Houston Astros. But I think that 5 hole is going to be an interesting spot in spring.
Now that one ran. That's an excellent pitch, but again, Iannetta taking that one as they pitched him backwards, so to speak. And that's the second strikeout of the night for McHugh. Cole Calhoun comes up. Now Calhoun's been so good. Remember last year was J.B. Shuck contributing so much, a left-handed hitting outfielder for the Angels. Shuck has not been able to log any time, so to speak, and he was just designated for assignment, removing him from the 40-man roster of the Angels. That was something of a surprise. Check swing foul for strike 1. That's how much Calhoun has come along this year.
Sure has. Catching some lightning in a bottle.
Been an interesting second half of the season for Oakland and the Angels. Well, the Angels have made up so much ground on Oakland, and a lot of people assumed at the trade deadline Oakland had won the division. Those major acquisitions. Bounce foul. Angels did not go out and get a starting pitcher, but they earlier in July had fortified their bullpen. They got a new closer in Houston Street. They made some other acquisitions as well. And Mike Scioscia right now must be feeling really good about his club, although he did lose Garrett Richards to a knee injury for the rest of the year, and that's a substantial loss.
Yeah, that's a huge loss, especially if you go into the playoffs and you've got those, a 1-game playoff where you could throw a guy like Garrett Richards, or you go into a 3-game playoff where those wins are paramount. It's a tough guy to lose, but Shoemaker and Santiago have stepped right in and done quite well. Shoemaker, I believe, was pitcher of the month in the American League.
Yeah. Shoemaker is 14-4 with a 3.14 ERA. He leads. He's second on the staff to Weaver in wins, and Richards was 13-4 with a 261. So the number 3 starter would figure to be C.J. Wilson, but he has been struggling, and he was the loser last night.
And he came out of that game only after 71 pitches. I believe he gave up 5 runs.
That's flared foul. He did give up 5 runs in 3 1/3. But if the Angels get him untracked for postseason, I would think they'd feel pretty good about that trio right there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be real nice.
Meanwhile, in one of those spots, that's the Garrett Richards spots in the rotation, they're just using the bullpen.
Well, you can now in September. We saw it last night. Mike Scioscia's not afraid to get every arm up down there. Those expanded rosters.
He has a 12-man bullpen. Smacked on a line to right center field. Fowler over. He picks it up, and here's first to third action from Navarro. And the Angels threatened here with 1 out.
Get your running/walking shoes out and join us for the Badges and Bases 10K 5K run on Saturday the 27th at Minute Maid Park, presented by the Astros and Houston Police Foundations. There's also a kids fun run for ages 12 and under. Participants will receive a commemorative t-shirt. Register at astros.com/race.
Mike Trout has finished second in the MVP voting each of the last couple of years. As Trout steps up here, another chance to advance the possibilities that he will be the MVP winner this season. First and third, 1 out for Trout. He grounded out to shortstop in the first. That one's in the air, and it goes toward the right field side, foul. Strike 1 on Trout. He hit a few of those the first time up, a little bit late with his swing on some of these pitches tonight.
Yeah, Colin McHugh likes to pitch up in that zone, that top part of the strike zone, and one of the guys you can do that against actually is Mike Trout. That's where he's had some of his issues. He's got a great swing on pitches down in the zone. A lot of his home runs coming off pitches down, but sometimes he can get beat up in that zone. Belt high and above.
343 batting average on balls in play. Great numbers. That WAR of 6.4 among the best around. 1-1. Who else might win? Jose Abreu, Nelson Cruz could be MVPs this season. What's your choice?
Jose Abreu could be a Rookie of the Year too. I'm sure he's going to get all the votes in that.
True.
But Nelson Cruz, with the way the Baltimore Orioles starting to take away that AL East title, he might garner the most.
Foul, and it's 1-2 to Trout.
But also Trout's going to get quite a few because the Angels are playing so well too. You mentioned that they had one of the best records in their franchise organization through this many games.
They are looking very strong right now. Tough team to derail. They're on a 10-game road trip. They go to Minnesota and Texas as well. And all those teams have losing records. Did you say they have a makeup game with Cleveland?
Yeah, I heard Mark Langston, their radio guy, talking about that. They were on this 10-game trip, but they also had to go out of their way on a day off and pick up a game that they lost earlier against the Cleveland Indians.
This is the 9th time the Angels have held sole possession of first place in the AL West after games on August 31st.
Do you see the Athletics making one of their patented September runs this year?
No.
Me neither.
VR unable to play that double play ball, and the Angels get a run to tie it at 1. Sharply hit, but VR tried to play it a little bit off to his left, didn't make the pickup, and now the game is tied, and there are runners at first and second. Error on VR. That's his 13th of the year.
Not too bad. This ball smoked. What you want to try and do is get in front of this ball. Maybe that last hop jumped and bit VR a little bit, but trying to get that lead, at least one out in this situation, would have been the right thing to do, but he fields that cleanly. That's an easy double play on a speedy Mike Trout. It was hit so hard.
Trout gets credit for an RBI. That's his 98th of the year. And the error is charged to VR, allowing Calhoun to get to second. Navarro scoring on it. Now it's Albert Pujols batting. He chops one foul for strike 1. VR is going to get chances to play here in September, even though Marwin Gonzalez has looked solid at the shortstop position. VR had the job earlier this year.
Yeah, Marwin did a great job. You know, he took a back seat to Jonathan VR out of camp, played the role, had some spot starts, and when VR struggled, Marwin stepped right in, did a great job playing some solid defense, big hits.
Pujols late on that one, and it's no balls, 2 strikes to Albert. Went over and had a big hug for Tom Lawless as the Angels took the field for batting practice tonight. Lawless coming from the Cardinal organization to become the Astros interim skipper. Curveball is in for strike 3. Pujols caught looking. 2 outs. That's the 3rd punch out for McHugh.
It's not too often you see a 3-pitch strikeout on Albert Pujols in Minute Maid Park. Colin McHugh just did an unbelievable job. Set him up early. I think Pujols was going to ambush that first pitch breaking ball, yanked it foul, was late on a fastball, and then just got the knee buckler right there.
McHugh's ERA of 2.99 is the 2nd lowest in the majors among pitchers with a losing record who have started 15 times or more. Hamilton hit that ground ball. Dominguez pulled some magic on him to get him out. In the air this time to center field. That'll hang for Dexter Fowler. And McHugh does a marvelous job after the double play was not turned, limiting the damage to 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. It's 1-1. Honored members of the Pearland East All-Star Little League team tonight. Jose Altuve among those to greet them. Pearland won the Southwest Regional Championship to earn a berth in the Little League World Series in Williamsport. They finished 4th in the USA bracket. Congratulations to Pearland East. And also another group honored tonight before the game on the field. Tom Lawless posed there with members of the Astros RBI softball team. They were honored. They advanced to the championship game of the RBI World Series for the 2nd year in a row, losing to the Dominican Republic 4-0. Congratulations to both of them. Matt Dominguez takes, and there's ball one from Jared Weaver in a 1-1 game. 225 for Matt, 15 homers. He's driven in 53. That comes in, and it's a strike. 1-1. Domingo in last night's game was 1 for 4. 1-2. Weaver is pitching around 86, and then he took some off there to 77. Very interesting to watch him work.
He is not afraid to throw that right on right changeup that seems to be taboo, but good deception, good delivery. Get away with it sometimes.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He's won at least 11 and has a winning record in each of his 9 seasons in the big leagues, including this one. Only 2 other pitchers who are active started their careers with a streak like that, Sabathia and Hudson. And then he zips it up 288, throws a pitch upstairs, gets Dominguez to jump at it, and hits strikeout number 3.
He picked the ball up so late out of Weaver's hands that it feels like it's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball up around your neck. You see that crossfire delivery, stepping right at the right-handed hitter, and by the time you see the ball come out of that big body, it's on you or by you.
Very good point. Jonathan Villar hitting 200, has 6 homers. And there you see what he did with Oklahoma City, hitting 258 there with 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. Had some stolen bases. Villar takes ball 1. It was one of the September recalls for the Astros. Switch hitting shortstop from the Dominican. He's hit 182 as a left-handed batter this season for Houston. The reports were good on him at Oklahoma City. It's 2-0. He had been erratic earlier this season in an Astros uniform. And that part seemed to have reared its ugly head in the top half of this inning. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Started out the season with a good month and a half, almost 2-month stretch of playing great shortstop, making all the routine plays, which were an issue last year for him. Like you said, Brown, he's kind of crept back into his game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Marwin Gonzalez is a steady shortstop.
And he's done good. For me, Marwin Gonzalez is just a good, fundamentally sound shortstop. Gets his feet in good position. Hands are always nice and soft.
Strikeout looking. That's number 4.
Weaver's having his way right now.
He really is.
3 straight strikeouts, 2 of them looking, but really painting that inside corner. He has that cut fastball. This one runs back over the plate, and as a left-handed hitter, you give up on it. And when you do that, it comes right back over the plate for strike 3.
Robbie Grossman, the second time around for Weaver. Grounded out to second earlier. It's a first pitch curve, and it's in for strike 1. Weaver has thrown 34 pitches, 22 have been strikes. He is 61-39 on the road in his career. That's an outstanding road record. 0-2. Only 4 other active pitchers won at least 61 of their first 100 road decisions. Tim Hudson, CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, and Bartolo Colon. Inside, he's really putting on a clinic tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's setting guys up. Doing real well. He's one of those guys, you see him miss with that pitch right there. That was probably on purpose. It was an 0-2 count, move the hitter's feet a little bit. Maybe he goes to the changeup right here or tries that eraser X on the inside.
There's a ball in the middle of the plate, but Robbie skies it out to left center field, and Trout is over for out number 3. We move to the 4th inning, and it's tied at 1.
4th. Come celebrate Fiestas Patrias Street Fest, presented by United Airlines on Saturday, September 20th, outside of Minute Maid Park, for live music, food, and fun for all ages. The Street Fest is open to all fans and will be on Crawford Street beginning at 3 p.m. before the Astros and Mariners play at 6:10. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. It's coming up on Saturday the 20th. 1-1 as we enter the 4th inning here with Colin McHugh dealing against Jared Weaver, and it'll be Howie Kendrick leading it off. Kendrick hit a fly ball to right. Kendrick takes ball 1. Colin McHugh's ERA in August of 1.91 was 7th in the American League. Lowest by an Astro in August since Wandy Rodriguez in 2010, 1.34. It's 1-1. It appears that he's up against it again tonight. These two guys dealing with that 2-1 win going Weaver's way back in Anaheim in May, and it's taking on undertones of that kind of a game so far. Way inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Jason Castro goes out. It's been a nice homestand for the Astros, even though they lost 2 of 3 to Oakland. That 3rd game was a come from behind Oakland win in the 9th inning, and then the Astros took 3 of 4 from Texas and won the opener here last night. Tomorrow an off day for travel.
Yay.
You guys get to make that long flight to Oakland.
Thanks, Brownie.
But think of all the great restaurants you're going to have in San Francisco when you get there.
Get there in time to have a nice meal. I think even the Saturday game might be a day game also.
Yes, it is.
So that'll be a good thing. Yeah,
Yes,
some good cities to go to.
And you're not far from your old stomping grounds, Berkeley.
Yep. Try and have lunch with my head coach, Bob Milano, when I go out there.
Swing and a miss. Kendrick is thrown out. It's strikeout number 4 for McHugh. Bob Milano, how long has he been there?
He is actually retired for quite a while now, but he was the coach when I was there, and I owe a lot to him for what my career turned out to be.
That's great that you guys stay in touch.
Oh, great baseball mind. It really helped me getting through going to school at Cal Berkeley. That was a big transition for me as an 18-year-old going from Southern California into UC Berkeley.
Yeah, that's an interesting school. Eric Ibar fouls it back. There's strike 1. But it was struck out in the 2nd.
But it was a good time. No, he was the one proponent of me hitting left-handed, and he actually threatened to take away my scholarship if I did not hit left-handed, and I thank him every day for that.
You bet.
Not at the time, but now I can say I'm thankful.
Altuve to his left. Over to Singleton. 2 outs. It's been a very interesting year for the Astros regarding Colin McHugh, claiming him on waivers during the offseason. When he started this season, his major league record was 0-8 with an 8.94 ERA for 15 games.
It's incredible.
One of the top acquisitions around for any team this year. It's ball 1 to David Freese. Freese grounded back to McHugh, who knocked it down and threw him out. To right field, Marisnik backing on it. For a quick 4th inning, Jose Altuve will be leading it off in the bottom of the 4th inning with the score: Angels 1, Astros 1.
At 1 between the Angels and Astros. And our Geico quote of the day is from last night's Angels starter. This is C.J. Wilson talking about Jose Altuve. I threw a pitch off the plate away and he pulled it for a homer. I'm not trying to give him a bunch of stuff to hit. I'm not throwing fastballs down the middle. He hit it anyway. He just hits everything. Another 4-hit night for Altuve and the players in this clubhouse, the Astros clubhouse, saying pretty much the same thing about Jose Altuve, saying that they've never seen anyone be this hot for this long. It's the length that he's doing it. And Jake Mrazek said today, he's also off the field. He's keeping us young guys in check here. Guys, he's only 24.
Yeah, and he takes ball 2 for a 2-ball, no strike count. Altuve grounded out to third in the first inning. He's a grizzled 24. That one foul for a 2-ball, 1 strikeout. You know, one thing that the statistical experts say, the people who look at the charts where he hits the ball, is that he's hitting fewer fly balls to right field this year, and he's pulling more balls.
Yeah, we noticed that halfway through the season. He's really turning on pitches.
Once again, he hits it to Freeze. 1 out.
It's a good matchup. Weaver's pitching well. Altuve's swinging the bat well. You get to see how Weaver's going to attack him. So far, 2 ground balls to third base, trying to get in that kitchen of Jose Altuve.
Weaver has a career ERA of 3.28. Dexter Fowler was caught looking on a 3-2 count back in the first inning. Strike 1 for Weaver. Weaver lost a game here on April 6th, giving up 5 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Now 2-1 for Weaver. It's Weaver and Lefty Grove, the only 2 American League pitchers who have 10 wins or more and 100 strikeouts or more in each of their first 9 big league seasons. Fowler's worked the count his way to 3 balls and a strike. His .656 career winning percentage is second to Clayton Kershaw, who has a winning percentage of .657, for the best career mark among all active starting pitchers. Not a good swing by Fowler. The count goes full now.
3-1 changeup. It's tough when you see that changeup elevated too. You see it so well up there, but then start your swing and it's just not there yet. You try and do what Dexter did and hold up the swing, but you can't.
It's a foul ball, keeping the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes.
If you're a pitcher and you have a changeup like Weaver and you really show it to the hitter, that pitch right there gets crushed. But Weaver, basically throwing it down the middle, but he's just banking on the fact that Dexter's looking fastball and he's got good changeup speed on his changeup.
Fowler takes a walk. That's the first for Weaver. Do you think the changeup is more effective for a long arm type pitcher like Weaver with all his arms and legs coming at the hitter?
I think so, yeah. If you can be deceptive with it. We've even seen Brett Overholtz, who has a great changeup for a lefty. He throws consistently out of the same arm angle, same release point. And I think that's what leads to that good changeup and swing and miss type off-speed pitch that he has. And he's also not afraid to pitch in, which sets up that outside corner with the off-speed too.
Carter's third in the majors in homers with 34. Hit 1 in the second inning for the Astros run. I think Weaver just threw that ball to first harder than any pitch he's thrown all night.
I completely agree.
He zipped that throw over there to Pujols. Jason Castro's on deck. Carter lays off, and there's ball 1. Weaver has only lost 1 of his last 14 starts since June 21st. In the dirt. Iannetta blocks it, and it's 2-0. Tom Lawless is a proponent of the running game. He came up with the St. Louis Cardinals under Whitey Herzog, and they were running Redbirds back in those days. There have been 20 steals against Weaver, second most in the American League, and opponents have been caught 5 times. Top speed so far tonight for Weaver, 88 miles per hour on that high fastball Dominguez swung at. It's 2-1.
Again, Chris Carter showing discipline. 2-0 count. Didn't offer that off-speed pitch in a hitter's count where you're looking for a fastball and you may have a tendency to be too aggressive.
Yeah, that was a floater too. Out to center field. Trout with the grab. 2 down. And Castro will follow. Jason hit a fly ball to center in the second. In that Mariners 2-1 win at Oakland, King Felix was the winner. There's the ball off the end of the bat for Carter, but Chris hit it hard, just selected the wrong spot.
See, it's not good to hit the ball hard every time.
No, doesn't always work out, does it?
Baseball, you can do everything right as a hitter and just do what Chris did, line out.
Exactly. Castro takes it. There's ball 1 for Jason. In that 2-1 win, it was King Felix going to 14-5, beating John Lester, who's 13-10. Fernando Rodney got his 41st save. Kyle Seager hit his 22nd home run for the Mariners. Corey Hart, number 6. Adam Dunn hit his 22nd for Oakland, but that was the only run for the A's. So he's delivered a couple of bombs since putting on an Oakland uniform, but that Oakland team still is really scuffling to score runs.
Yeah, that offense, it's amazing to see that happen. Maybe feeling a little bit of that pressure.
Runner going. Swing and a miss. Iannetta's throw. Not nearly in time. Stolen base for Fowler, number 8.
I am so pleased in the last 2 games. I know it's just the last 2 games, but leading up to this point, Dexter Fowler was not a base-stealing threat at first base for me. But here in the last 2 games, 2 attempts, 2 stolen bases, and I hope this is starting to plant the seed that he can go out and do this and get into scoring position all on his own.
It could be big in a game like this. The Astros are 3rd in steals in the American League. That's their 95th. 1-1 to Castro now. Fowler is 8 for 12 in base stealing this year. Castro looks at it in tight. It's called a strike. 1-2. He looks back at the home plate umpire after that call.
Yeah, I was shaking my head too. I agree with Jason Castro. I'm not sure that pitch came back, caught the inside corner. I'm a little biased towards hitter, period, but
Weaver came to the big leagues in 06 with the Angels. They drafted him in the first round in 04. 12th player drafted that year. Castro out to right field, coming in Calhoun. That's a hit in front of him. Fowler comes to the plate. Here's the throw. It's offline, and it's 2-1 Astros. A big 2-out, 2-strike hit by Castro gives the Astros the lead, gives Castro a 5-game hitting streak, and the stolen base by Fowler really pays off.
Big time team baseball right there, and I told you didn't have to hit the ball hard to have something good happen.
You did.
2 strike, 2 outs. Put a bat on it, see what happens. Did a good job. He got beat by a good pitch, but just enough to get it over the second baseman's head and to land in front of Calhoun. And with 2 outs, Dexter off with the swing of the bat scores easy.
Fowler comes home with his 53rd run of the year. And now Marisnik with strike 1. He hit a fly ball to left. 2 hits for the Astros, 3 hits for the Angels. Rockies pounded the Giants today at Coors Field 9-2. Inside out swing. Marisnik fouls it. Hits no balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was too convinced he wanted to swing at that one.
No. You can really tell, can't you, the way hitters swing like that, what the pitcher has going for him that night.
Yeah, because Marisnik may have guessed right on the pitch he wanted, but the location is what tied him up.
1-2.
Plus the velocity. There's nothing really consistent coming out of Weaver's arm.
Starting pitchers for the Angels have 57 wins, 36 losses, a 3.63 ERA. Fly ball softly hit, and the second baseman Kendrick tracks it down in shallow right field. To win the Astros' fourth inning, they get 1 run on 1 hit and leave a man. They're up 2-1 after 4.
This season at Minute Maid Park, every Friday night home game is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The very last Friday night fireworks of 2014 will be September 19th after the Astros play the Seattle Mariners. Get your tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS. Visit Astros.com. Guys, got a chance to catch up with bench coach Adam Everett before today's game, and he said he was shocked when he got the phone call from GM Jeff Luhnow about being the bench coach. Usually when the GM calls him, it's not a good thing, but this time very excited for the opportunity and really happy about getting that first win. He said that will help relax him and Tom Lawless, you see there, very well as they move forward, and he's getting used to the duties as well. He's really excited to figure out the printer. That was a big thing for him as he posted that lineup today. These are important things he has to do, but he is looking forward to getting into a routine and moving forward from there.
Yeah, that was about the most animated some of us have seen Adam Everett, as he was before last night's game. Now 2-1 lead for Colin McHugh going to the 5th inning. Efrain Navarro led off the 3rd with a single to right center field. He leads it off here in the 5th as well. Tom Lawless still not getting much sleep, he told the media. It's ball 1-2 Navarro. Said he got about 3 hours last night, but the Astros have that opportunity to sleep in a little bit tomorrow before taking off for Oakland.
So you're telling me all you got to do as a bench coach is work the printer?
Sounds like a pretty sweet deal, huh?
Man.
No, but I was asking Adam at the press conference yesterday, Blummer, well, what have you appreciated about the good bench coaches you've had?
Yeah, good question.
And had a good answer, too. It was they make your job easy. They just allow you to come into the room and relax before a game. Don't fill your head full of things that are not productive. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, most bench coaches turn into managers eventually. True. Or ex-managers that are bench coaches. So I mean, you're almost the co-manager down there.
Yeah, I would imagine, and you could speak to this, that a player might feel that the manager's time is hard to come by, and you don't want to bother him a whole lot by going to his office because he has so many other duties. But maybe the bench coach takes over that role for you as a player. Swing and a miss, and Castro Goes to first, strikeout number 5.
Tell you what, if I'm Tom Wallace, I'm getting ejected tonight just to test Adam Everett and see what our friendship is really like.
Oh, hadn't thought about that.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, he's got to be ready to take over.
You're like, what did you just do to me, Tom? Hand him the lineup card and say, go get him, kid. That would be entertaining for me, at least.
I'll have to check with Adam to see if he's managed at any level. Chris Iannetta 0 for 1. Off the end of the bat, it goes toward Jose Altuve. Calling for it, and Marisnik's right behind him. 2 outs.
The bench coach is really effective for me in the National League. Tony Muser, when I was in San Diego playing for Bruce Bochy, he did a great job. He really, he did a good job of explaining to guys in the bullpen what their roles might be, but he did an even better job in that dugout when Bruce Bochy was worried about situations and strategizing what was going to happen next. Muser was kind of listening and had a feel for what was going on. He'd come down to the end of the bench and be like, hey, be ready, you never know, pitcher hitting 4th next inning, stay loose, situations like that. So that's where those guys come in handy.
Cole Calhoun is 2 for 2. 2 of the 3 Angels hits have come from their leadoff man. Ball 1. Oh, Adam, of course, teammates with Morgan Ensberg, and Morgan has contributed quite a bit to the Astros minor league efforts, usually at Lancaster as a special assignment coach. He was here a few weeks ago.
It's good to have those guys that played in your organization coming back and helping out.
Strike to Calhoun, makes the count 1-1. They went 14 innings in Los Angeles. The Nationals beat the Dodgers today 8-5 in the 14th. Could be a playoff preview. Adam LaRoche came off the bench in the 9th, and he drove in 5 runs.
What?
That's a bit unusual.
That's a heck of a day off. Jeez.
He had a pinch 2-run homer that tied it in the 9th. A go-ahead 2-run single in the 12th, and then a fielder's choice grounder in the 14th. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
McHugh showing the swing and miss hammer tonight.
You talked about his strikeout ratio at the outset of the game. It's very good for the season, better than a strikeout per inning. He gets a swing and a miss and another punch out. Calhoun is victim number 6. In the middle of the 5th inning, it's 2-1 Houston. Comcast Sportsnet is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. 2-1 ball game here in downtown Houston. Matching McHugh and Weaver. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Astros. Singleton, Dominguez, and VR batting against Weaver. Weaver gave up a Carter home run leading off the Astros second. And a 2-out, 2-strike go-ahead single by Castro in the 4th. He had walked Fowler, and Fowler had stolen second earlier in that inning. Singleton struck out looking in the second. It's ball 1. Weaver's brother Jeff won 104 games in the big leagues. Jared has won 128. 4 other pairs of brothers each won at least 100 in the majors. Pretty select company. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phil and Joe Niekro, Gaylord and Jim Perry, Pedro and Ramon Martinez, Bob and Ken Forsch. Foul back by Singleton. It's 1-2. Have a message to pass along to Howard Chen from somebody who doesn't have Twitter.
Who doesn't have Twitter?
Well, I can't say his name, but he is a friend of mine. Singleton strikes out. That's number 5 for Weaver.
It's like you and your friend have to have a talk and get him updated.
I like it that he doesn't have Twitter.
It's pretty impressive, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah. Matt Dominguez comes up next. All right, Jose Altuve, he says Howard Chen is the Spud Webb of baseball.
Not Muggsy Bogues?
Well, that's another possibility. You're right. Domingo fouls it back. There's strike 1 with VR on deck. Good souvenir.
That's why you show up. That smile right there.
Yeah. Curveball hit up the middle, and that is a single for Matt Dominguez. He stayed back on that one. And it's hit number 3 for the Astros.
Stayed on it just long enough. Off the end of the bat. Sneak that one up the middle. I'd like to see Matt Dominguez catch fire here in the last month too and pump some of these numbers up.
That would be nice for him to finish in that fashion. He has had a difficult time the last few weeks. VR struck out looking in the 3rd. Freeze is in at the edge of the grass. Smacks one out to center field. Trout over. Trout with the catch. 2 outs. Well hit ball by VR.
Ball was hit well by VR, but you look up and you see Trout. It's got a beat on it. Comes out there. You can see he kind of shying away. That ball getting up in the lights here at Minute Maid. But of course, he's got X-ray vision to go along with every other tool he has and makes the play.
Yes, he does. Robbie Grossman is grounded out and he's flied out. Strike for Weaver. Astros are 10th in runs scored in the American League, 554. The Angels have scored 641. It's 1-1. It's really something to look at the lineup card with all the extra people. On the Angels side, they have 36 total players here. They have left no stone unturned on their roster for September help. It's out to right field. Coming over for it, Calhoun. with the grab to end the 5th inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. 2-1 Astros through 5.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single night on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. Only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Yeah, we saw Bill Worrell out at the game tonight.
That's kind of cool. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Bill's getting ready for Rocket season. It won't be that long until, well, about a month before they start playing exhibition.
Yeah, right on it, huh?
Colin McHugh right now is leading at 2-1. He's retired 8 in a row. After the error by VR allowing Trout to reach and allowing the run to score for the Angels, Trout is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground to shortstop both times tonight. Yankees lead the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ryan McCann hit his 17th home run. In tight for ball 1. That moves Trout back. Do you realize that if the Yankees and Red Sox both fail to make the playoffs, that'll be the first time since the wild card came into play in '95 that they've both been kept out of postseason play?
It's incredible.
Fly ball out to left center field. Fowler going for it. That's 9 in a row set down by McHugh. He is standing up to the pitching of Weaver tonight. Orbit getting into it with the mascots. Last night he was fishing for Trout, and Trout reeled him in. Albert Pujols has fly to center, and he is struck out looking. There we have the fishing expedition for Orbit. Thought he caught Trout, but Trout caught him.
What do you use as bait? I'm trying to catch a trout.
Foul away. 1 ball, 1 strike for Colin McHugh. His ERA since August began is the 8th lowest in the American League. Last time out, he threw first pitch strikes to 22 of 29 batters. This one goes foul outside the right field line. We talked last time Dallas Keuchel pitched about the fact that he was going for his first ever career win in August. Dallas was 0-8. He had the lead, but then he wound up with no decision. The Astros won it late. Well, McHugh has never won a game in September. 0-5 of the 10.29 ERA in 9 career September games. We're not talking about a lot of games here. Struck him out. Pujols caught looking, and he is really unhappy with Jeff Kellogg's call.
Don't see Albert that animated, if ever. That's the second time back-to-back strikeouts working on the breaking ball. Albert thinking that one broke over the inside of the plate.
He'd only struck out 55 times this season, twice in a row tonight. Josh Hamilton's 0 for 2. Strike to Hamilton. Crowd really getting into this game for Colin McHugh.
Rightfully so. Doing a great job. Plus, I think a lot of these Astro fans like seeing Albert Pujols go back to that dugout.
You know that. A single to right field for Hamilton. He's hit number 4 for the Angels tonight, and Howie Kendrick follows. Kendrick's 0 for 2, a fly ball to right and strikeout swinging. Mets lead at Miami 4-2 over the Marlins. They're in the top of the 8th inning. Kirk Neuenhuis hit his 3rd home run. Orioles 6, Reds nothing. Top of the 9th in Baltimore. Dominguez looks at second. No play there. He takes it over to first base. And it's no runs, a hit, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-1 Astros.
Now 70 Twitter responses about how Jose Altuve can be more than just being awesome at baseball, and about 4 of them were related to Chuck Norris, so I had to choose one of those. R. Cunningham 60 tweets, Jose Altuve can make a fanny pack look so good that Chuck Norris wants to wear one just like him. And how about Kirk Heath? He tweets, Jose Altuve can help anyone, including Howard Chen, that's me, grow a beard, which is crazy. Those are some great tweets you guys sent. Great tweets all night long. I could only choose 2 of them. And Brownie, I hear you have a special message to pass along to me. What's up?
Spud Webb.
He's the next Spud Webb?
Yeah, he's the next Spud Webb. What do you think?
I think that's doable. I think Altuve could definitely dunk. I mean, if he can hit a baseball and go 8 for 10 and lead baseball in all these different categories, why can't he dunk the ball?
Well, he has 193 hits, 38 doubles, and 50 steals. Who's done that? Ty Cobb twice, Tris Speaker once, and George Sisler once. Those are the only players in American League history with totals that high in those categories for one full season. Rolled out to second. Kendrick on over to first, but tonight Altuve is 0 for 3, 3 groundouts.
This moment in history is presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history. We look at Enos Cabell's 8-year career as an Astro. Pretty good seasons, over 1,000 games, over 1,000 hits, 191 stolen bases. That's one I would not have guessed.
Well, he did.
He played primarily third base, correct?
Yes, he played first base as well, but he played a lot of third. He did steal bases very well. But yeah, you're right. You know, he's long and lean, kind of like a Dexter Fowler type build.
Yeah.
And he could steal bases. Good ball one. Fowler stole a base and scored a run to give the Astros the lead back in the fourth after drawing a walk. It's 1-1. And Enos was one of the clubhouse leaders too. He was not shy about letting a teammate know what to do. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One time Jose Cruz was saying to Enos, well, I don't know why I'm not playing against left-handed pitchers. He said, go talk to the manager. And he did. Went to talk to Bill Verdon and said, Bill, I think I should be playing against left-handed pitchers. He said, you do? He said, yes, I do. That one, a slip for Weaver as he was just off balance when he delivered that pitch 2-2. And he went to talk to Bill, and Bill said, you do? He said, yes, I do. Bill said, okay, you're in there tomorrow against Steve Carlton.
Yeah, go get him, kid. Careful what you wish for.
It's 3-2. He did well against Carlton, and he played against lefties from that point on.
I can see Cheo doing that.
Yeah. Carter on deck with 1 out. Fowler taps it.
He was great. He was my first base coach when I was playing the first go around here with the Houston Astros. I'd get in a little bit of a funk, and he'd start screaming at me, buddy, buddy. I'd look down there, and he'd give me that patented leg kick, and he'd hit his knee like, get that knee up, man. I'm like, Cheo, you're the only one that can pull that off, man.
Fowler works a walk. That's the second of the night for Weaver. Dexter now has 60 walks this season. He leads the club in that department. Number 25, a special performer.
What a great ambassador for Astros baseball, too.
He really has been. Chris Carter hit a home run to the Crawford boxes in the second. Hit a fly ball to center in the fourth. Infield shift is on. He looks at strike one. Weaver finished second in the Cy Young voting in 2011. He was 18-8 that year with a 2.41 ERA. In 2012, he was 20-5 and finished third in the Cy Young voting and pitched a no-hitter against the Twins. Throws to first. Last year, he was limited to 24 starts. He was on the disabled list with a broken left arm. He had a fall on the mound, broke that arm. When he first pitched here this year, April 6th, he gave up 4 long balls to the Astros. Line shot into left field. Fowler to second base. Navarro gets it back in on a single by Carter, who's 2 for 3 tonight.
Nice and easy. I like where Chris Carter's at right now. It seems like he's getting back to that swing where he had that great month of July, August. Just good balance, patient. Those hands are back, and he's waiting for that ball to get into that contact zone, and he's dropping the head.
Exactly. Now it's Castro. He drove in Fowler with the go-ahead run with a single to right field in the 4th inning. Jason's 1 for 2 tonight. One to Weaver. From Weaver to Castro, rather. And Weaver stingy with a 239 batting average allowed this season. Facing an interesting challenge right here. Potential double play situation. Castro is 3 for 8 against Weaver now for his career. Pickoff throw at first. And Carter went diving back in. Ionetta pumped it down to Pujols. Pitch was ball 2. That's a good play. A lot of times that runner at first will not be really locked in on the fact that this might happen.
Yeah, a lot of times too, if you're a bigger guy like Chris Carter, you're trying to extend that lead a little bit, trying to get a good jump to break up that double play.
That pickoff has worked. Strike makes it 2 balls and a strike. Indians shut out the Tigers 7-0. Salazar won over Verlander. Santana hit his 24th home run. Castro looks it over. It's ball 3, and now he's worked it his way 3-1. Tiger Club continues to really struggle. Detroit began the night a half game behind Kansas City. Kansas City leads 2-0 over Texas. They've played 5 in Kansas City. Risnick is on deck. Fowler takes off for third. The ball's popped up. Freeze over into foul territory. Over the shoulder try. He can't get there. Difficult play for Freeze. Ruled no play, and it's 3-2.
It's a tough play as a visiting player. Minute Maid's one of those ballparks that doesn't have much foul territory. And whether or not you're looking at the stands or not, you can definitely feel them. There's that sixth sense when you start going over towards that crowd. You start hearing the fans get a little bit louder. Nobody really wants to go crashing into those pads.
No, sir.
I'm glad they have pads now.
You bet.
Used to just have that wrought iron over there. That would remove some kneecaps.
Turn back towards second before the 3-2 to Castro. Verlander gave up 6 earned runs in 6 2/3 tonight. Danny Salazar blanking that potent Detroit lineup on an 8-hitter. With no walks and 9 strikeouts. Victor Martinez 1 for 3. He's hitting .332 now. That one came around and knocked the mask off Iannetta on the swing and miss by Castro. The strikeout for out number 2. Strikeout number 6.
Not too often you see the backswing knock the mask clean off.
Oh. That's a big out for Weaver.
Again, why catch? Yeah. I mean, it is the most. Those guys take a beating if it's not, just blocking balls and foul tips. Now you got backswings on some of these guys.
That is a pounding. Marisnick will try to deliver now with 2 on and 2 outs. He's 0 for 2. He's hit the ball in the air both times. Singleton's on deck. Tough night for hitters on both clubs. There's ball 1. 88 pitches now for Weaver. Angels starting pitchers have limited their opponents to 3 earned runs or less in 20 of the last 22 games. That ball goes foul. It's 1-1. Since the All-Star break, the Angels' team ERA is 2.85.
That is real nice. Yeah, they had serious concerns in that bullpen, and they went out and addressed them. They've been pretty good backing up some of these good starting pitchers that they've had.
They really like Houston Street as their new closer. Jason Grilly's one of the setup men now. Salas is having a big year. That's in for a strike. 1-2 to Marisnick. This equals the second best record in Angels history after 137 games. 83 wins, 54 losses. Now they have a chance to clinch home field advantage somewhere down the line in the American League playoffs. They currently have the best winning percentage in the league, .606. Still 1-2 to Marisnick. Well, that Cleveland club just will not be counted out. Cleveland started the night 5.5 behind Kansas City and beat Detroit. Ground ball third. Freeze with the force play on Fowler. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left after 6. 2-1 Houston.
It's 2-1 Astros, and our progressive fan of the game today is Jonathan, a member of the Pearland East All-Star Little League team. And you guys just had one heck of a run, finished 4th in the USA bracket. What was it like to play in the Little League World Series, Jonathan?
Well, we've been watching it, or I've been watching it my whole life, and I was like, that would be really cool to go there one day. And we ended up going. It was like once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was pretty cool to play with like all the different teams and the Japanese and the Korean. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to root for you guys. Now today, you guys were on the field. I heard you met some players. What was going on?
Yeah, they invited us to come, and we got to meet like Jose Altuve. We got to get Nolan Ryan. I got all of them on an autograph. Dad, where's the autograph ball? I'm getting. Oh, okay.
You have an autograph ball though? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like got all the coaches and players. It's going like in a trophy case.
That's a great day for you. Well, congrats on your success this season, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys pretty soon.
Thank you.
Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. Eric Ibar leads it off 2-1 Astros. 7th inning arrives for Colin McHugh. He deals strike 1 to Ibar, who's 0 for 2. Showing bunt that time. That brought in Matt Dominguez on the grass at third. Ibar has 10 bunt hits. This one a little roller going foul. Puts him behind in the count. 0-2. The Halos are 71 and 46 against the teams in their division. They go on to Minnesota next. They'll be playing there tomorrow night. Hector Santiago gets the start for the Halos against Kyle Gibson. Then they go with Matt Shoemaker, who's 14 and 4 with a 3.14. And in the last 3 games, he's 3-0 with an ERA of 0. Ibar looks at it for a ball. Then they'll pull somebody out of the bullpen, apparently Plummer, to start Saturday's game. And they did that with Corey Rasmus, who went 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, and then they had an 8-pitcher combined shutout, 2-0 over Oakland in the previous series.
So you really don't know what you're going to get on that day. Yeah, nice hitters meeting before that game.
Oh yeah, wouldn't it? Chop slowly. McHugh tossing to Singleton. What do you do? You've got a 12-man bullpen for the Angels. So when you're going over those pitchers, How long does that take in September?
I've played on teams where they actually have video to back it up that are playing while you're getting these scouting reports, and it turns into a good half an hour. And you see guys, the veteran guys are usually the ones that are like, just give me an idea what he's got.
David Freese is 0 for 2. Strike one. Well-located slider there for Colin. Colin and his wife have settled in the Atlanta area. That's in for strike 2. 0-2 to Freese. He's been a part-time player now for the Angels. David drove in 60 for the Cardinals last year. He's down on strikes. Well, McHugh's breaking stuff is working extremely well. That's 8 punch-outs tonight.
2015 Astros season tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Get the best value and receive great benefits throughout the season. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS now to reserve your seats.
Efren Navarro's the batter. He singled and scored in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. Jason Grilly's warming up for the Halos. Strike for McHugh. Fouled away, and it's 0-2 to Navarro with Chris Iannetta on deck. The Astros get what they call a quality start, which would be 6 innings or more, and no more than 3 earned runs allowed. Their record is 46 and 28 this year. That's a crisp look with the white shirt. 1-2.
Well represented. He's got the old school logo on the chest and the new one on the head.
Yes, he does.
I got to figure out where he gets his shirts pressed at, man.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. Foul back. Well, you might be looking for that on this long road trip that starts tomorrow.
I've got mad skills on the ironing board, Brownie.
What's your favorite city on the road?
I like San Francisco a lot just because the experience that I've had up there, you know, playing in that area. And then Chicago, of course, is a good one to visit. I like going to Kansas City, too. Ballpark and food. It's a good combo up there.
2 balls, 2 strikes as the bullpen is busy with Grilly, and now Kevin Jepson is doing some stretching.
I know you're shocked Milwaukee's not in that mix.
Well, not really. You could stay at the haunted hotel there.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, you want to be in the new part of that hotel, not the old one.
Bounce foul. Whoa, look at that snag by Alfredo Griffin.
Still got it. He's letting people know.
He does have it.
I watched him play shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes.
When him and Socha were teammates out there in the other LA.
Socha quite a catcher. Well, they had some teams that were tough to beat with that pitching staff of theirs. Navarro takes the curve. McHugh had 91 pitches now. It's 3-2. A little stirring in the Astros bullpen, but nobody's throwing at the moment. It's been a duel again. Weaver beat McHugh earlier this year 2-1. Colin went 7 in that game in Anaheim through 112 pitches. Gave up an Albert Pujols homer. That was an outstanding job against this lineup. Dominguez is far off the third base line. Navarro hits it to center field. Fowler puts it away. 1-2-3, seventh inning. Great job by McHugh through 7. 2-1 Houston.
Two to one, bottom of the 7th. And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. And tonight it is Dave Piccirilli showing us how his dog Rooney watches the Astros. It looks comfortable. Tweet your photo to hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Jonathan VR due up third this inning, making his first start since being recalled. And Jeff Luhnow spoke about the shortstop, saying that down in AAA, he did everything that Luna wanted him to do, and that's basically focus on every single play. He has a tendency to lose focus. That sometimes we see that, but that's what he was doing at AAA. Luhnow was getting good reports from what was going on down there. Now he's got to carry it over here in the bigs, guys.
Thanks, Julia. 2-1 ball game, and the Astros come up here in the home 7th inning against Weaver. John Singleton has struck out twice. He took strike 3 back in the 2nd. He swung at it in the 5th. Cracks a line drive to right field. Oh, that was blasted by Singleton. That's one of the best results we've seen him have in several at-bats. That's a leadoff single here in the 7th.
He was due, wasn't he?
He was due.
Gets around that fastball, just yanks it.
That snapped an 0 for 20. Cole Calhoun plays it back in. Now here's a visit to the mound. Mike Scioscia coming out. 92 pitches for Weaver. Matt Dominguez will be the batter. He singled last time up on a curveball. That's it for Weaver tonight. He does not look at all pleased with Mike Scioscia removing him from this game. Boy, is he out of sorts.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy about going back out for and starting that inning and then being taken out in this inning after giving up that hit to Singleton.
The Astros lead at 2-1 with the Angels going to the bullpen. We'll be back in a moment. Altuve continues his chase for the single-season hits record Friday night. The Astros head west for a 9-game trip against playoff contenders, starting with the Oakland A's. Pre-game live starts Friday at 8:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Let's take a look at some of the pitchers the Astros are going to be facing on that road trip. It's brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It's not going to be an easy road. The Astros are still trying to figure out who they're going to start on Friday to start that series out in Oakland. But you know it's going to be Jeff Samardzija, Scott Kazmir. They're getting roughed up as of late here later in the season. Maybe fatigue setting in, but has great numbers against Houston, and they'll be pitching against the Astros in Oakland. Iwakuma, King Felix doing a great job. Jared Weaver again. They're going to have to go through these guys again towards the end of that road trip in Los Angeles.
Dominguez around a bunt, and he takes ball one from the reliever, Jason Grilli. Domingo 1 for 2 tonight. Grilli, the former Pittsburgh Pirate, is 1-4 with the Pirates and Angels with a 3.52 ERA. He's the former Pirate closer who fell upon hard times with Pittsburgh. He was traded June 27th to the Angels for Ernesto Frieri. At an ERA of 4.87 with Pittsburgh before the deal. Now he fits into situations like this. 7th inning, not the closing type spot that he was used to over the last few years because Houston Street has assumed that job with the Angels. Grilli last year was 33 for 35 in saves. He's 37 years old. From Michigan, went to Seton Hall. Began his career with the Marlins. Domingo fouls it. Matt put down his first sacrifice bunt of the season a few days ago. He has a total of 1 all year. Alex Presley has come out to the on-deck circle with VR due up next.
Tom Wallace realizing this game's pretty tight. Runs hard to come by. Leadoff knock puts Dominguez in a situation where he's got to lay down that bunt late in the game to get that runner to second base.
He does bunt it. He bunts it hard. Freese takes a look at second, takes the out at first. And it's a sacrifice for Domingo. Singleton at second, 1 down.
Good job by a guy who doesn't bunt that often. See him getting some love in the dugout. Put it firmly, but in a great spot.
Now pinch hitting for the shortstop VR, who was 0 for 2. It's Presley. Alex batting for the first time in quite some time with the Astros. He's been on the disabled list. Just activated from the 15-day disabled list yesterday. He was out with a right oblique strain. First at bat since July 7th. 252, 5 homers, 13 runs batted in. Presley, as a pinch hitter, is 1 for 7. In the air on the infield. Freese calling. 2 outs now. And it'll be Robbie Grossman coming up. Well, these September managers have all the extra weapons. They do tend to use them, don't they?
Yeah, why not? They're here. Give a chance. You got a couple of backup shortstops. Altuve had 2 at-bats. Get Presley in there. See what he's got left. But yeah, really no fear of rotating guys through there when you know you've got ample opportunities sitting on that bench.
Grilli's appeared twice against the Astros, both times in the series in Anaheim, July 3rd and July 5th. Both times scoreless innings. He got a hold in one of those games, a 5-2 Angel win. Grilli was a first-round pick by the Giants in '97. He was the 4th player drafted that year. He's pitched for the White Sox, Detroit, Colorado, Texas. He joined the Pirates in 2011. That's when his career took a big upturn as he moved into that setup spot first in 2012 and then the closer's role. Father was Steve Grilli, major league pitcher with the Tigers and other teams. There's strike 1. the Mets 4, the Marlins 3. They're going to the bottom of the 9th inning. And if you were to hear that somebody on the Marlins hit a long ball, what would your first guess be?
Mike Redmond. No, he's the manager. My fault.
Giancarlo Stanton, number 36.
Hey.
Pick off at second, and the throw. Oh!
That's going to bring Mike Scioscia out in a hurry.
He is coming out quickly. Singleton was called safe, diving headfirst back into second.
My initial impression was out.
DJ Rayburn called it the other way.
Great move by Ibar. That's not a setup play. That's just a flash. Put the glove out. Daylight play. As soon as the pitcher sees that, makes a quick turn. He made a great throw on him, and looks like the tag got in there. You see the foot was in front of the bag. That didn't allow Singleton to get directly back in there with his right hand. Watch him have to go around the right foot or left foot.
It looked as if he tagged Singleton out while Singleton was trying to get the hand around Ibar's foot.
I think this is going to be it.
Play is under review. Challenged by Scioscia.
Replaying it here at home.
For the season, about 48% of these reviews have been overturned.
Astro fans reacting to the big jumbotron shot here. They're not too happy about it. Angel players are walking off the field.
Yes, they are.
Haven't even made the call yet.
Well, they make it now, and it's an out call. That ends the 7th inning with no runs a hit, nobody left. We move to the 8th, 2-1, the Astros.
Rockets and more. We've got all your Houston sports news covered. The Sportsnet Central weeknights at 6, 10, and midnight only on Comcast Sportsnet. Guys, I touched on this earlier. Colin McHugh and his success against right-handed hitters. He has not allowed a hit to a righty so far tonight. Castro, very impressed with his approach against righties, and he also talked about his ability to mix in that cutter, a pitch you guys were talking about earlier, and then the changeup. He's been able to throw that to both lefties and righties. But that cutter, I asked a little bit more about this, and Jason Castro saying at times it does get big. It gets slider-ish. I love these made-up words they make. They tell me, but it does get more slider-ish, I guess you could say, in different situations depending on the hitter. It's interesting how that works for McHugh, guys.
Thanks, Julia. We have changes for the Astros now. Alex Presley staying in to play left field. And Marwin Gonzalez at second base. Colin McHugh with the first pitch to Chris Iannetta here in the 8th inning, and it's ball one. 93 pitches so far. Kevin Jepson in the bullpen for the Angels. 93 for McHugh. That's out to center field. Fowler backing on it. Fowler still on the run, deep into left center field. At the wall, Fowler.
For me, it's plays like that that make last night frustrating. When you see a guy like Dexter Fowler, who you can watch right here, he can go get it. We've seen it a couple times. He laid out in Minnesota, made a great play. This one goes tracking off into the center field wall, makes the play. But then you see a routine fly ball like last night. Drops it, but picking up his pitcher right there, Colin McHugh, with a big leadoff out.
Very important play in a one-run game. Now it's Calhoun. Calhoun is 2 for 3. Fowler apologized to his manager for dropping that ball last night. Good ball one. He attempted to catch it about waist high, and he dropped it in center field on a rather casual effort.
How about the relay throw home?
Yeah, that too.
Threw it directly to the right fielder, Jake Marisnick.
That was strange. Rolled out to second for Altuve. On to Singleton, 2 outs with the bullpen busy for Houston with Jose Veras working. And apparently it's batter by batter, but McHugh's not to 100 pitches yet.
Follow every Astros game the rest of the season with MLB.com at-bat on your favorite smartphone or tablet. Right now, save 50% and get MLB.com at-bat premium features for only $4.99. Download the #1 app for live Astros baseball on the App Store today. Sale ends soon. Visit Astros.com for complete details.
Tom Lawless comes out. Marwin Gonzalez, by the way, is playing shortstop now. I may have said second base earlier. That'll be it. And the pitching change will take care of McHugh's evening. 96 pitches. What an effort. He leaves with a 2-1 lead. 2 outs, nobody on. The fans are here. 16,949 standing for McHugh. And a fantastic effort against this hard-hitting Angel lineup tonight. The bullpen will come in with the score 2-1 Houston. Position to be a winning pitcher for the 8th time this year. What a fantastic effort. Pitching coach Brent Strom talking to a man who for the 6th time in 22 starts has not walked anybody, Blummer.
He's doing a great job. He had the full mix tonight. He was locating everything extremely well. That cutter that Julia hit it at, the turn sliderish every once in a while, doing a great job. Just taking a little bit of speed off sometimes, doing a good job. He can elevate that fastball, which does a good job of setting up that hammer that he's been using all night long to put away Los Angeles Angels.
7 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 strikeouts. So 6 starts with no walks. In those 6 starts, he has combined strikeout 46 while walking nobody.
You know, early in the season, we would talk about, is this guy for real? I think you can say he's for real. He's putting together a strong season. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. You talked about some of those streaks of losses where the team hadn't picked him up. Still pitched quite well. But it also seems that he's the type of guy that's going to make adjustments as he goes along.
Now it's Mike Trout facing Jose Veras. Trout 0 for 3. And the objective might have been to get McHugh out before Trout faced him for the 4th time. At strike 1, or perhaps with that long fly ball hit by Iannetta, that was a sign to the new interim skipper that McHugh didn't have the kind of stuff he had earlier in the game. Who knows? Veras is 3-0 with Houston with a 2.74 ERA.
Yeah, I hope it's more something he saw and wanted to get McHugh out of there, save him a little bit. He's 7 2/3 is a strong game for Colin McHugh with 96 pitches thrown. But I would hate, it would be a negative philosophy for me to have him say, I'm going to take him out before somebody gets to him and ties this thing up.
Right.
So he still qualifies for the win. Because I guarantee you that guy right now sitting on the bench would love to be right out there right now. And I'm not trying to imply he's upset with the move. I'm just saying, if you ask him if he wants to pitch more, he's going to say he wants to pitch more.
Yeah. 2-1, 2 errant breaking balls thrown by Veras here to Trout.
Those were not even close.
No, they were not. So Veras rubs up the baseball. Last time out for him was Sunday against Texas. The Astros won it 3-2. He was the winner. He pitched a scoreless 8th. He had a hit and a walk, but then struck out Adrian Beltre and got Ryan Rua on a line drive to right field. Veras has returned to very good form after starting the season with the Cubs. Fastball works, and you knew he was going to throw it right after those 2 breaking balls, but he still zipped it past Trout.
Yeah, considering the 2 previous breaking balls made more contact with the backstop than they did with Castro's glove. You knew he was coming with heater right there.
Would Castro dare come back to a breaking ball here?
He just beat him with a fastball. I wouldn't mind seeing him trying to elevate in the zone a little bit with that heater and maybe try and beat him up.
In the air, foul. Still 2-2 as Trout takes a little walk out of the batter's box.
Right now, Mike Trout's seen 2 fastballs, swung through one, fouled off another. If he sees a third one, he's a good enough hitter where he might square it up. So you might want to think about going to that slider. You see just a hair behind that last fastball.
Two 5-1 for Houston with 4 men left. 1-4-0 for the Angels with 4 men left. Did not throw a good breaking pitch. It was hanging up there, but Trout fouled it off his ankle.
Yeah, it was interesting. Veras actually shook to the slider. But yeah, may have gotten away with one right there. That really wasn't a 2-strike hat.
No, it was not. And Trout, a guy with his power, can certainly be a difference maker in a game like this. Who holds on deck? Trout fouls it again. What a battle.
Yeah, Trout's not going to go away easy. Not a hit in this short 2-game series so far, but the last thing he's going to do is give it away in at bat.
This will be the 8th pitch to Trout. Castro's going out.
Castro's probably going to ask Veras, do you have enough confidence in that slider to maybe bury one off the edge here and see if Trout will offer at it?
Veras coming back to a club for which he was the closer. And last year he was traded in July to Detroit. Then signed as a free agent with the Cubs over the winter. Things didn't go well in Chicago and he was released. Trout hits it in the air, and here's the shortstop, Marlon Gonzalez, taking care of out number 3. Great job by Veras. And for McHugh, he leaves in a position to be the winner. It's 2-1 Astros.
Astros. Head over to the Flying Saucer at 705 Main Street after the Astros-Indians game on September 15th for a post-game party featuring drink specials from Z Tequila. Some of the Astros front office will be there for a meet and greet, including Director of Decision Sciences, Sig Mejdal. See you there.
September 15th. Well, Flying Saucer, Orbit should be there if it's the Flying Saucer. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Fernando Salas, the former Cardinal, comes in for Mike Socha. Weaver went 6 innings plus, giving up 5 hits, 2 runs, walking 2, fanning 6. Grilly had a hitless 7th inning. He picked off Singleton to end that. Salas has had a nice year with a whip of 0.97, Jeff.
No, those are great numbers. Huge bonus to having that bullpen to back up some of that good starting pitching. Fastball, changeup, slider.
Marwin Gonzalez will be the first man to face him. He's now in the leadoff spot coming into the game. Robbie Grossman was at the plate when Singleton was picked off to end the 7th inning. Then Presley was the pinch hitter for VR. Presley stayed in to play left field. Grossman coming out, and there's the first pitch to Marwin, who's been out with a right hamstring situation. Not a serious one. That's ball 1. Marwin with a .272 average has 6 homers, 22 runs batted in, and as a left-handed batter, he's hit all 6 of his long balls from this side of the plate. Salas deals, and it's ball 2. It's been quite a homestand for Marwin Gonzalez, going 8 for 17 with 4 doubles and a .471 average. Salas is 29 years old. He's from Mexico. Gets a strike there, and it's 2-1. Salas had some inflammation in his right shoulder, which forced him onto the disabled list earlier this year, but he's come back nicely from that. He first came up with the Cardinals. They put him in the closer's spot in 2011. He had 24 saves in 30 opportunities. That's near the left field line, and it's slicing away in a foul ball. Efren Navarro coming over. It's 2-2. Jose Altuve's on deck. Salas pitched a shutout inning in each of 4 games on the last homestand. The Angels really putting a stop on that Oakland club. He worked a perfect 10th inning Thursday night, got his 5th win of the year in that one. Each of his last 13 appearances have been scoreless baseball, and he's retired 41 of the last 44 batters faced. To left field, Navarro. 1 out for Salas. The Angels will have Pujols, Hamilton, and Kendrick due up in the 9th. Jose Altuve's 0 for 3 tonight. 3 groundouts. His 10-game hitting streak is on the line. And the Astros are warming up Chad Qualls. Dexter Fowler's on deck. Altuve turns on one, rips it fair into the corner. He heads for second base, and he just blasted that ball right by Freese into the left field corner for double number 39. That's 194 hits for Altuve.
Poor guy with the numbers was wondering if he was going to stand up, but of course we knew he was going to stand up eventually. Altuve is not going to let a whole game go by without getting a knock. And most guys would be tentative. He's up there ready to rake on that first pitch. Hitting well over 400 on the season on first pitches this year. He loves to attack. And puts himself in scoring position with 2 outs for Dexter Fowler, too. Or 1 out, I'm sorry.
Yeah. 39 doubles, tied for second behind Miguel Cabrera, who has 43. Fowler has walked twice. He has struck out looking. That's strike one for Salas. Altuve will take an 11-game hitting streak on the road trip. Amazing year continues for Altuve. Well, that was a lightning quick swing. He rifled that ball by Freese at third. Kickoff play at second, but the ball's not thrown. It worked in the last inning. And that could wind up being a big play in this game. Singleton was picked off second by Grilli. Astros have out hit the Angels 6-4 tonight. 1-1.
It's Altuve's 48th extra base hit too.
Yeah, he's not just getting singles, is he? He started the night 8th in the league in total bases.
Pretty impressive for a guy who doesn't really drive the ball out of the ballpark, so it gives you an idea of what he's doing with those doubles.
Foul back by Fowler. It's 1-2.
Not to mention the numerous hits he's compiling. Altuve might get a couple of MVP votes if somebody really wanted to throw one out there. You're not going to get much argument against it.
No, you're not. The Astros have done well in this series with men in scoring position. They had a good night last night. Fowler takes 2-2. Somebody tweeted that out today, and it was a good point because the voters vote for the top 10 in the MVP voting. The Astros in this series are 7 for 15 with men in scoring position. The Angels are 1 for 13.
Compare those extra base hit numbers to Trout's. He's got 72 extra base hits.
Flared over the shortstop Ibar. He turns, and in left center field he makes a good catch. Boy, that's a terrific play. Don't know if Navarro could have gotten there or not.
Here's our Mako big hit of the game. Off the big bat of Chris Carter early in the game, that first AB. Got himself a hanging fastball out over the plate. Gets under it, drives it, bounces it off the roof, and then lands it right in the cameraman's lap. Howard Chen nowhere to be found. That's nice pickup.
Now it's Carter again. He had a single in the 6th inning. He's 2 for 3 tonight. And a balk is called. Salas called for a balk by the second base umpire, DJ Rayburn, who's indicating to the Angel bench that he paused twice. He stopped, started, and stopped again, according to Rayburn.
DJ Rayburn's trying to get on that Christmas card list of Mike Scioscia's. I'm not sure I saw it.
No, didn't see it.
I don't think it was quite that exaggerated, but
okay.
Doesn't take much.
So now a wild pitch, something of that variety, could get the Astros an insurance run even without a hit. Foul tip, strike one to Carter. Carter has not been just a home run hitter. He's really improved in hitting with men in scoring position. 287. Fly ball to right field. Hit pretty well. Calhoun back. Calhoun at the wall. Carter! Opposite field. A 2-home run night for Chris Carter. And it's 4-1 Astros. 35 bombs for Chris Carter.
Must have heard about Giancarlo Stanton. Getting another one. Chris Carter getting in on the action. We said that he has a good shot at getting back to 40. 22 games after this game's completed, but he's got 2 today to creep up that list. Big man is putting the charge into it. And again, it doesn't look like he's really putting much effort into it, but the ball eventually leaves the ballpark. Big home run for some big insurance run.
82 runs batted in for Carter. That ties his high of last year. And now it's Castro. strike. So the string of scoreless outings for Salas comes to an end. At 13 straight, 35 homers, puts him one behind Cruz and Stanton for the major league lead.
How about that?
Bouncer, Salas throws him out, but the Astros pick up 2 important insurance runs in the 8th. They lead 4-1, moving to the 9th. Sportsnet is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 4-1 ball game. The Astros have a pair of home runs from Chris Carter tonight. He has 3 of the 7 Astros hits. And now Chad Qualls comes out for the 9th inning with a 3-run lead. It's the 7th 2-home run game of the year for Chris Carter. 7 multi-home run games is a franchise record for the Astros. Lance Berkman had 6 in 06. And he's provided Chad Qualls with working room in 52 games. He's 1-4 with a 3.47 ERA, 16 saves in 20 opportunities.
He's pretty happy to have Chris Carter on his team right now.
Oh boy.
A couple of insurance runs are always nice.
Albert Pujols steps up. He is 0 for 3. Jose Veras retired, the only man he faced, Mike Trout. Sinker moves down and in for ball 1 at 94. Colin McHugh in 7 2/3 innings allowed just 4 hits and 1 run with no walks, 8 strikeouts. Pujols a .400 career hitter, 8 for 20 against Qualls. Chad delivers, and it's 1-1. Qualls got save number 16 on Sunday against Texas. He protected the 3-2 win. At a 1-2-3 9th inning against the bottom of the lineup. Altuve to his left. On to Singleton, 1 out. Josh Hamilton follows. He's 1 for 3. Qualls is second in fewest walks per 9 innings among American League relievers.
Just throwing bowling balls in there. Blew up Albert with that last sinker.
Sure did. Hamilton single to right in the 6th inning. The Angels have been held to 4 hits, all of them singles. And strike 1. Well, they came into this series on a high, a 6-game winning streak. They lost last night 8-3. Now they're trailing 4-1 with 1 out in the 9th.
Just shutting down the offense. The Astros pitching is doing the A's a favor.
Altuve in. Singleton, and just in time. 2 outs. This would be a 6-3 homestand for the Astros if they win this one.
And it's going to do a little bit for their psyche, too, if they end up winning this game going on that road trip, knowing that they can beat some of these contenders and have an effect on the outcome in this division race. I know it sounds crazy, but as far as mentality and some of the egos in there, it's good when you know that you're going to finish off the season playing against some top-notch baseball teams and you end up beating them. That is some carryover.
Kendrick is 0 for 3. Astros had a 4-2 homestand against Texas and the White Sox earlier this season. It's been their best winning percentage on a homestand.
The win tonight would give them 61 and leave them 2 wins away from missing out on another 100-game losing season, which would be pretty good for the team and some fans.
It would send them on the road with a 4-game winning streak. Ground ball to shortstop. Marlon Gonzalez finishes a 2-game sweep of the Angels, and the Astros knock off the first-place club in the AL West with 2 home runs from Chris Carter, who drove in 3. Tom Lawless is 2-0 as the